So today, as you guys are coming in, this is going to be a workshop. So a lot of times you get to participate, talking and asking questions and things like that. But today you're actually going to get something done. I know that
hmm
sounds scary, but here's what I want you to do as we're getting everybody coming in is grab yourself pen and paper. If you can get to a desktop, you want to do that because at the end we're going to do some chat GPT. So today's is goal setting. We're going to be working on goal setting, and I'm going to share my screen here real quick as people are filing in. As you know, we have all kinds of free resources for you. We are Y Grow Global, and with Y Grow Global, everything is free. We're a group of agents, diverse agents in all different backgrounds, all different parts of the country. We all come together from different brokerages, and we talk about things that will help us grow our business, grow our network, and grow our life so we can sell more real estate in less time, have more money so we can have more fun. That is our plan. And so here's what I've got for you right here is we've got a Facebook page. You're definitely going to want to be a part of that. We have a website, and on the website, it's got all kinds of different things, but it tells you, for example, what we're going to be working on under events. Today, we're doing an open forum where we're going to be setting SMART goals that you can actually execute, and we're actually going to do them today. So you're going to want to have pen and paper in front of you. I know you're like, wait a minute, I just planned on listening. Well, today you're going to participate from where you're at. This is a fully interactive working session where you're not just going to talk, you're going to actively participate. You can ask questions, but you're going to complete the activity live. You will come out of here after 1 hour from this and you will have knocked something out for the day. You can check it off. And one of your goals for 2026 was to have written goals. You're going to walk out today and you're going to have it done. Okay, so we're going to be doing that in a second. We also have an Instagram page. You want to check that out. We post shorts and things like that there. Also, we do congratulations to people when they've hit milestones in their career. And of course, we do record these mastermind sessions. We have 136 videos, an entire library. If you go to our YouTube page, and I believe in the chat box, our awesome person, Julie, will put all the links to all these so you can sign up and be a part of these. But we record them. And then you can go back and you can watch them and pause them because some people say, I'm a farmer from the Midwest and I talk too fast. That's all right. That's just the way we are here, we farmers. So let's get started. Today is Martin Luther King Day. And with you guys' permission, I would like to take a second for a moment of silence for Mr. Martin Luther King, who did so much to change our world. We're going to take a second here for a moment of silence to remember his great life. Okay, thank you. So, Mr. Martin Luther King, he had a dream, and one of his most famous quotes is this: I have a dream that my four little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. And he's done so much to change our life, and so we remember him today. So, I'm going to thank all of you for joining with us here today. One of my favorite Martin Luther King quotes is, which is not as famous as the others, is this one: If I cannot do great things, I can do small things in a great way. And here's sometimes we as agents think, all I'm working on is this little stuff. Well, the little stuff, if you work on it and do it great, it can have massive impacts in your life. Okay. And so we're going to use that and we're going to apply that today because what we're going to work on today is written goals. Now, here's the thing about written goals. Everyone on the planet that's in business knows they should do it. And they also know that it's easy to do. But what's easy to do is also easy not to do. That's the thing. You know you should do it. You know it's easy to do, but yet you don't. Here's the great news I'm going to tell you today. If you simply use written goals, you will be ahead of 99% of the other business people out there. Everybody says they have goals. Yeah, I got goals, but they're not written down. And goals that are not written down are just wishes. They don't accomplish their goals because they don't write them down and read them every day. And that's not going to be you because today, with you being on here today, or if you're watching this recording, you will have goals if you participate. And I'm going to be looking. I can see right through your computer right now. I can see everything you got going on there. I'm going to know if you did it or not. So there's a lot of famous people that have talked about goals. Before we write them, you have to believe in them. And here's how I want you to believe them. Look, Mahatma Gandhi said, glory lies in the attempt to reach one's goal and not in actually reaching it. Now, think about that. If you ever wonder why these super famous people movie stars and athletes crash and burn and stuff like that. It's because they believe the glory is in achieving the goal. It's not. It's the actual step-by-step process. Human fulfillment comes in each day moving incrementally a little bit more towards your goal. In fact, a lot of goal-setting teachers like Tony Robbins teach you should never hit your goals, ever, ever. If you get close to hitting your goal, what do you think you're supposed to do? You're supposed to push it out. Goals are living, breathing things. They're something that you don't just set once and never go back to them. You're always supposed to be adjusting them, okay? So it's a big deal. Bruce Lee said, make at least one definite move daily towards your goal. That is how you will feel achievement in life. It's working towards a goal and checking it off and tracking it and the accountability that comes with that. You know the differences between a dream and a goal? A plan. You got to have a plan to get there. And so many people will set goals, but they don't put the steps, the teeny little steps in action each day moving forward to move towards to hit their goal. And that's what we're going to do today. So having a great idea is simply not enough. The eventual goal is vastly more important than any idea. It is how ideas are implemented that counts in the long run. We're going to put stuff into action. So here's a ton of people that have had great quotes. If you ever need to get inspired about your goals, here you go. Here's Tony Robbins. Setting goals is the first step in turning the invisible to the visible. Okay? If you want to live a happy life, tie it to a goal. There we go. Boom. Bam, bam. It disappeared on me. So there we go. So here's what we're going to work on. So tons of different quotes out there about goals. Let's get into the meat and potatoes of this, because here's what I'm going to do for you. For those of you who have pen and paper out, you are going to come away from this with your goals done. Now, you'll be able to go back. I'm going to give you some resources to go back to adjust them and work on them more. But today, in this tiny 1 hour session, you will have accomplished what 99% of other people out there say they're going to do, but they never do. And today you will get that done. And so there's all kinds of different goal writing platforms out there. The gold standard is the Smart Goals Planner, Smart Goals, because here's the thing about written goals. They have to be written properly for your subconscious to understand them. And here's what we know. If you've ever read the book, Think and Grow Rich, one of the main, probably Fortune 500 company executives were interviewed, and they were asked, what is the most important business book you've ever read outside the Bible? Okay. And Think and Grow Rich won hands down for them for developing their mindset of what they could work as a business book. And inside the business book of Think and Grow Rich, it talks about setting goals and setting them properly so that your subconscious, you can program it to look for, while you're not even thinking about this, subconsciously to look for the opportunities that will help you reach your goal. And there's an old Hawaiian proverb that says, when goals are written and looked at and read each day, I'm going to recommend that you put these on your bathroom mirror. Helping hands will appear from the universe. Some people call it God, some people call it universe, but will appear to help you achieve that goal when it's in the front part of your mind. So we're going to use today the Smart Goals Planner. And you're going to write these out. And at the end, for those of you who've done your AI with me before, and you've created your AI clone, for those of you going, what's an AI clone? You'll need to go back through our YouTube channel and look for me that walks you through building your own AI clone. But it's going to take your AI clone, and I'm going to teach you how to use it, your AI, who knows everything about you, to interview you and help create goals for you. I want you to do the written exercise first. And then for those of you who want to stick around and get crazy with the AI with me, you can stick around at the end. And for those of you who don't have your clone done, you'll have to go watch the clone and then come back and watch the recording of this. Okay, let's get into it. SMART goals. SMART goals, S-M-A-R-T, is an acronym. And it stands for your goals must be specific. They must be measurable. They must be attainable. They must be relevant. And they must be time-bound. I'll give you an idea of what a goal is not. I want to lose weight. That is not a goal. That is not a goal. That's a wish, but it is not a goal that will program your subconscious to keep top of mind awareness and to activate your RAS filter. It's called your reticular activator that's in the back of your brain. It will not activate that because You're saying it in a future tense, you're saying it as a wish, and your brain doesn't believe that it's real because you didn't set it up in this format. This is the way your brain will think, and your subconscious will register your goals. And so we're going to use these to write your goals today. Smart, okay? By the way, this is inside Canva. If you ever want to print this out, some people like having things printed out and do it on paper. You can use that and you can get it out of Canva. You just go into Canva and search for Smart Goals Planner, and it's in there, right? Color coded, it's really cool. And you can use that for each one of your goals that you want to accomplish. Okay. So what type of goals would you want to accomplish? Some people are like, well, I don't even know what my goals are. I'm not sure. What are they, right? And so the man I follow, and I would say most people follow, is the godfather of writing goals. The guy has written books on them. He has audios on them, all kinds of different things like that, is Brian Tracy. I'm going to give you a link here in a second where you're going to be able to download a free 14 step thing to writing goals. But let's talk about Brian Tracy. So his goal setting method emphasizes the clarity, writing goals down, prioritizing the most impactful one, and taking consistent action using a structured, often 7-step process, including making detailed plans and using SMART criteria: specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. Um, these The technique to put it on steroids is not just reading your goals. The top people will actually rewrite their goals every day. They'll take the goals that they've created and written down on their mirror, and they will rewrite them by hand, driving them into their subconscious and doing that for you into your subconscious. Okay. So here's the thing, the principles, the clarity in writing. You have to get precise about what you want and write it down. Having it in your head doesn't work because you're going to need to see it, because as human beings, we get distracted very easily. Our main brain is designed to keep us from dying and to look for comfort. That's what it looks for. Is it possible to be comfortable and have success? Everybody should be shaking their head no. You cannot achieve success by feeling comfortable. As Kim Campbell and I always say, you can't find real estate buyers by just sitting on the couch all day and waiting for one to parachute in from your ceiling and show up in front of you and say you want to buy a house. You have to get uncomfortable. You have to go do things, right? Okay. So the 10 goals exercise that we're going to work on here and that you can do with Brian Tracy is to write 10 goals down for the next 12 months in the present tense. It's everything to work in your subconscious must be in present tense. I earn, I achieve, I weigh, right? I exercise. It is a first person I, and it's a present tense verb. Why does it have to be present tense? Because if you say, I want to weigh, that is a future thing, and your subconscious doesn't register future tense verbs. It reads it as a wish, as what we want to, according to the book Think and Grow Rich, is you want to talk to your subconscious in present tense, because that part of your brain doesn't know what is imaginary and what is real. If you say, I earn, and you put the amount in there, your subconscious believes it to be true and takes steps and actions to make that happen. I know when the first time I heard it, it sounded kind of hokey to me, but I can tell you right now, written goals will change your life. Okay. Now, inside those goals, let's say you have 10 different goals that are written down. You're going to want to focus on one. And here's the way you figure out which one is the most important. You're going to ask yourself this question. It's called the magic wand question. If I took all these 10 goals, if I waved a magic wand right now and made one of those goals happen in the next 24 hours, which one would have the biggest impact for me for this year? Now it's going to be different for everybody. For some of you, it would be achieving your income goal. For some of you, it would be achieving a health goal. If you have a health thing that you're battling right now. For some of you, it would be a relationship goal, making something happen that in relationship wise that would change everything for you and make everything happen. That's how you're going to do the litmus test as to which one of your goals is the most impactful one. And then inside that, here's what we're going to do. There's 7 steps to achieving the goal. Number 1, you got to write it down. Number 2, you've got to set a deadline. A goal without a deadline is just a wish. It's just a wish. And here's the thing. Some deadlines you're setting out too far out. I'll give you an example. You want to lose weight, okay? You want to lose 10% of your weight, whatever you're at right now. If you set it out and don't put a deadline, what does your brain think when the deadline is? Oh, when you're dead, right? That's the deadline is out that far because you didn't set a deadline. So when will your subconscious start working on it? The answer is never. Never. You need to set a deadline inside it and then hold yourself to it through tracking and accountability. So you're going to organize, you're going to list everything needed to achieve it. Let's just stick with the losing weight. Seems to be a popular one that everybody has, a New Year's resolution everyone talks about, right? What would be a list of everything you need to do to achieve that? Maybe that's your number 1 goal. You know that would change my life forever if I did that this year. What are the things you need to achieve it? Well, let's just say, what are some things that we need to achieve it? You would need to throw out all the junk food out of the house, revamp your shopping, get rid of Grubhub and Uber Eats, right? Just take them off your phone, so you can't just order up that Popeye's chicken at 10 o'clock at night when you're supposed to be going to bed. Wolf down 12 pieces of spicy. How would I know that? It's not possible, right? It is possible for someone to eat 12 pieces in one sitting. We won't talk about anyone you know that does that. But anyways, we're going to organize it into a checklist. And then you're going to take action immediately towards working towards that goal. You're going to break it down into tiny incremental steps. So let's say you were going to lose weight. You're going to analyze what it is. Here's a thing on the checklist. Analyze the calories you're taking in and decrease those calories by, let's say, 15% a day. 15% a day less calories than what you're eating now. With the same amount of activity you're doing now, what is going to happen to your weight? We all know what's going to happen. It's going to go down. You're going to lose weight over time if you track it and you work with that in small, tiny, incremental steps, but moving forward immediately towards doing it. And then here's the saying, do something every day towards your goal. Every day, okay? And then implicity is you never give up with persistence. See, it's the actions towards the goal that makes the goal happen. But it's the reading the goals daily that's going to remind your brain that you're supposed to be working on those and the action steps you're going to take towards that, okay? So the goals are specific. For example, if I'm going to lose weight, let's say I'm 200 pounds and I want to weigh 180. I want to lose 10% of my body weight. I'm not going to say in my goals of specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound, I'm not going to say, I want to lose weight. That's not a goal. The goal would be, I weigh 180 pounds by July 2nd, my birthday, which is possible, right? So it's specific, it's measurable, it's achievable, it's relevant, and it's time-bound. I put a time on, okay? Underneath that is I'm going to have all the ways that I'm going to do it, right? I'm going to increase how much I move and decrease the amount I ingest. That's what I'm going to do, but I'm going to be very specific about the things that I'm going to do with that, okay? So we're going to get to doing yours here in just a second, the workshop part. I just want to give you this framework of how it needs to work, okay? For tough goals, you've picked your number 1 goal, the tough one it is, you can ask yourselves questions. How can I do this? How can I lose 20 pounds in the next 6 months? And write down at least 20 answers to generate breakthrough ideas. And if you can't come up with answers to it, what do we have that's in our pocket that gives us the ability to ask questions to? Of course, AI, right? Like if you want to do your brain first and come up with what you can. And then from there, if you can't come up with 20 answers to this question, how can I earn more money this year, right? Then you can go to ChatGPT and you can ask it, based on what you know about me, this is it from your clone, based on what you know about me, how can I lose 20 pounds over the next 6 months? Give me 20 ideas and then let ChatGPT go to work and come up with that for you, okay? All right. Now, number 7, a very important part, and a lot of people miss this one when writing goals, is you need to have balance in your goals. Some people for goals just write business goals. That's it. Well, what kind of life do you live if you go out and make millions of dollars this year, but your health is crap? What kind of life would that be? What if you go out and you just work on business goals the whole time, make millions of dollars this year, but your relationship and your personal and family go to crap? You lose the things that are most important to you. What if you don't work on self-improvement goals? What if you don't work on your spirituality? Things like that, right? So we want to have balance in our goal settings when we're reading them, so we don't forget everything else, but yet we have our main one that we're going to focus on and we're going to move towards every day, the one that would change my life forever. And it's going to be different for everybody on here. Okay. And so that's good to go. All right. So with that, I want to give you a, oops, I don't know why I put all this junk in it. Let me get rid of some of this. I'm going to cut and paste this and put it into the chat. And this is Brian Tracy's 14-step guide that you're going to be able to download. Now, it's free. I will tell you, once you put your information in, you're going to get a page like this. He's going to try to sell you a $27 thing on that. You don't have to buy that to use the 14-step goal. You're going to use this. I'm going to get this link. Hang on one second. I'm going to copy it, and I'm going to put it in the chat. Hang on one second here. Let me get over to the chat because I know you guys are going to want to download this. Let me get into the chat, put it in here, and then we're going to do some actual work on it. Here we go. So paste. There we go. That thing should work. If somebody would click on that and make sure that works for me. Inside this, we good? Did it work? Kim gave me the thumbs up. All right, good. It worked. It worked. Tony says it's good. Excellent. Okay. Inside that, like I said, he's going to send you a page that's going to sell you some more. This is for the people that really want to do a deep dive and stuff like this. The $27 is worth it, but I'm not telling you to spend that. If you just do the free one, you'll be good to go. It looks like this. We're not going to do this right now. We're going to do a different workshop, but I just want you to see it. This is what you're going to download, and I think you should get it. He's going to talk about goals. He's going to talk about in here the mindset behind doing it, getting you ready to go, and then the goal setting process. And he's going to walk you through it deep down, why you need to have it and what you need to do. Okay? So there's the 14. So I'm going to leave this for you. This is your homework for later. Maybe you'll get to it, maybe you won't. It's not going to matter because you can have some written goals because we're going to do them right now. Okay? So it's going to look like this. So real quick, I want to tell you a story before we write these, just because some of you are going to sit there with your camera off and you're going to be like, all right, he doesn't know because the camera's off and he doesn't know if I'm doing it or not. I'm going to badger you into it with a story. And here's a story. The famous Harvard goal-setting story claims in 1973, a study they did found that 3% of Harvard business student grads with written goals earned significantly more than the other 97%. 13% with unwritten goals, 84% with none. So 3% of the students wrote down written goals, 13% had goals, but they weren't written, and 84% with none. 10 years later, the 3% were making 10 times what the other 97% were making combined. Now, that story right there is an idea of why you would want to do this. Why do written goals put you so far ahead of everyone else? The answer is this: because no one does it. Everyone knows they should, but no one does it. And because they don't do it, that's why it'll work. That's why you will have such a big strategic advantage over everyone else if you have written goals, because they don't have them. And we should be glad about that, because if the whole world had written goals and the whole world had vision boards and the whole world was doing personal growth and everything like that, it would be a heck of a lot harder to succeed. But because no one does it, that's why it'll work. That's why reaching out to your sphere of influence each day and contacting 10 people from your sphere and just reaching out to say hi and starting a conversation with them, the reason it'll work to generate business for you is because no other realtors do it. And it's that simple. And because it's simple to do, it's also simple not to do. And so we're going to do it. So get your paper out. I don't care if it's the back of a scratched piece of paper or something like this, and get yourself out a pen. Here's the first part of the exercise. And now we're not going to do all 10 right now because it'll take too long. But I want you to right now, I'm going to get my timer out. You're going to have 60 seconds. I didn't say 16. I said 60. I'll put my little clock on. Hang on one second here. You're going to have 60 seconds to do this. Don't start writing yet. Don't start writing yet. 60 seconds to come up with 3 things that would change your life this year if you accomplish them. Now, so in case some of you have brain lock, like, I'm not gonna be able to do this in 60 seconds. Here's the most common things people say at New Year's resolutions. What do they say? I want to lose weight. I want to make more money. And I want to get rid of some bad habit. And I want to start some good habit. Those are the most common New Year's resolutions when people clink the champagne glasses together. And so you've probably got something in your mind, something like that. So real quick, you don't have to do them in the smart fashion right now. You're going to scribble down. Let me get my 60 seconds started. That was 1 hour. We don't want 1 hour. 60 seconds, you're going to go. This timer's going to go. On the count of three, I'll start you, and you're going to write down 3 things that would change your life. And the reason this works is because these are the most important things that are in your conscious mind right now. Later, you're going to go through and come up with 10, but right now, we're just going to do 3. 60 seconds, the 3 biggest things that would change your life in 2026. You ready? 60 seconds, go now. You got 60 seconds to write it down. 45 seconds. I'm doing it too. 20 seconds. Should we have 2 of them done at least and be writing down your 3rd one right now? You got 10 seconds. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Okay, pens down. Pens down. Pencils, if you're old school, using pencils. You wrote down 3 things on there just off the top of your head real quick. You're like, well, I didn't even have time to think about it. That's okay. The conscious part of your brain knows what would change your life this year. You already know what it is. Like, a lot of people think they got to get all deep and stuff like that. You already know what it is, right? For some of you, it's going to be your health. For some of you, it's going to be your income. For some of you, it's going to be a relationship. For some of you, it's going to be a spiritual thing. Okay. Take a look at that list of 3. Okay. Of 3 things. And when you look at that, I want you to circle the one that if it happened today, before the end of the day today, we got 4 hours left in the business day, right? Well, I guess it's a day off, but if you finished the day today before you went to bed and it was done, which one of those right now would it be? I want you to circle it. Circle it on your paper. Okay? Does it look like that? Well, my paper's got the background in it, so you can't see it. You're gonna circle it. Okay? Once you have that, like I said, we're going to go through and we're going to do these smart, but we're just going to pick the one today because we don't have enough time with everybody on here being this to do it. So we're going to do 1. Now you're going to go through this and do it for, I would recommend for 10 goals that you have on there that you can read each day, but you're going to focus on the 1. And so here's what we're going to do the 1 right now. All right. So you're going to look at it. If you're like me, you probably didn't write it in SMART goals because you only had 60 seconds to do it. So mine was make more residual income. That was mine. I know that for a fact. If I made more this year, that would change my life if I could have that going off right now. But what's wrong with my goal? It's not first person, right? It's not a present tense verb. It's not measurable. It's not time bound, right? It's missing all the stuff that has to go on for being a goal. So let's go to that. And yours is probably something like that too, right? So let's go in and let's take a look here at the SMART goals, and let's just go back in and revamp that and write it the right way. Okay, so let's get over here. Where's my thing at? Nope, that's not it. There it is. Okay, so I'm gonna put this up on the screen. You guys see my screen? Give me a thumbs up. You can see my screen. Yep, got a head from Ron. Okay, so we're gonna write it in a SMART goal fashion. Okay, so SMART goal fashion is, first of all, we know it's got to be first person. So first letter you're gonna write down is the word I. I is first person. So go ahead, write on your paper I. Okay. The second thing we know about it is it has to be a present tense verb. For your subconscious to believe it, you have to act as if it has already happened. Okay. So what are present tense verbs? It's not I want or I'll try, or I'm gonna. None of those are present tense. Those are future tense verbs. It has to be now. Okay. So for mine, I was talking about I want to make more residual income this year. That was a goal of mine. I know that would be life-changing for our family with where we're at. We're trying to be. Yours might be something different. I want to lose weight. I want to do this, right? Whatever it is. Okay. So if it's a weight type thing, you would say, I weigh. Mine is going to be, because I'm talking about money, is going to be earn. I earned. Okay. I earn. If yours is a relationship thing, you would say, I love. My family, you want to do more love to your family or whatever it is, right? You want to take care of a charity. Okay. I donate. That's a present tense verb. Okay. So everybody got that written down? You should have two words on there. It should be a I and it should be a present tense. Give me a thumbs up if you got that done. Present tense. You got it? Rob, yes? You got yours written down? Jordan, you got yours written down? The only people I see, that's why I'm calling on you. Okay, good. So now we're going to get into the smart part of it. This part needs to be specific. Okay? So the specific part on it needs to be this. If you're going to work on your weight, what does you want your weight to be? It needs to be a number, right? Because how can we get to it? You don't want to say, I weigh less than I do now. Well, you can go use the bathroom and you weigh less, right? It'd be over. That's not a goal. It needs to be what it's going to be. If it's earning, right? If it's something about making money, I earn, and it would be the amount. Okay. Now that would be, so you understand what I'm talking about specific. It must be measurable. If it's a number, is a number measurable? Yes, it is. Okay. Attainable. Here's the thing about attainable. When writing a goal, you can't set it so unrealistic that your brain won't believe it. I'll give you an example. Let's just talk about income, right? We're all real estate agents here. So we're talking, I bet a lot of you, your goal is a certain amount of money that you're making. Okay. You can't put a goal of making $1 million in real estate this year if last year you only made 50,000. It's not how life works. So on an income goal, what they recommend is this: no more than 2.5 times what you earned this year. Okay, no more than that, because your brain won't believe it. Here's a good idea. Let's say it was 100,000. You made 100,000 in real estate. You don't want to put $1 million for next year. Your brain won't believe it, but 250,000 you could put, absolutely, totally doable. And what you'll find is if you follow your goals long enough, you'll probably blow 250 out of the water. But if you put $1 million, you won't try, because it's not believable. You're not going to go from 100,000 to $1 million in 12 months. It just doesn't happen like that. Does that make sense? So if it's that, it needs to be there. If it's a weight thing, right? You want to lose weight, use a percentage of your body weight, no more than 10% of where you're at now. So I got a friend of mine who's been on a huge diet, big guy, right? He was 340 pounds, right? So he would want to set his at 10% less than that to lose that this year, to lose it healthy, right? So you use 10% of that. Everybody get the idea, right? It's got to be something that's attainable. But what's going to happen is your goals are rewritable as you go. Let's say you set the goal too low and you start getting close to it. Then what does Tony Robbins say you should do? You should never hit your goal. You should be rewriting it. Okay, so it's rewritable, but it must be attainable. Relevant, it needs to be relevant to your life. How does it fit into your broader objectives? So when you write all of your goals, if your goal is to donate, one of your goals is to donate more money to charity. Well, would earning more money in real estate help you achieve that goal? Of course, right? Would it also help with things like maybe if earning more money in real estate, is it relevant? Would it help you with another goal of providing for your family better? Putting more money away for retirement, things like that. Okay, those are different goals that you're going to have. Yes, earning more money in real estate, it is relevant to the broader objectives of what you have on that sheet. Would it help? Okay, yes, perfect. And then T, time bound. What is the deadline? So what is the deadline? So what we're going to take right now is off to the side. You're going to write SMART off to the side on your piece of paper. And then you're going to answer each one of these questions with your goal. And we're going to take 2 minutes here to do it. Again, this is not a perfection type thing. This is a get it done type thing. Okay. So I want you to put the SMART on the side, SMART, and we want to answer these questions based on your goal of what you want to do. Okay. And so I'm going to walk you through mine as we're doing it, but I'm going to set the timer here. Hang on one second. And we're going to go with 2 minutes on this one. Hang on one second. I don't know why that did that. There we go. Spin the dial. I'm going to go 2 minutes and start answering those questions. If anybody has a question, you can unmute and ask while you're doing it. But go ahead. 2 minutes to do this to answer SMART. Specific needs to be specific. How much? For me, because it's an income thing, I'm going to put down the exact number. I'm using the exact number. I'm doing 2.5 of what I did this year. And 90 seconds. Go ahead and keep going. Specific, measurable. How will you track your advancement? What are you going to track it with? Well, if you're working on income, it needs to be something that you're doing, I would recommend monthly. Or if you're trying to save money, you would want to do it weekly, right? It's measurable. How are you going to track it? What's going to go on with it? Okay. A, is it attainable? I used an income one. I multiplied mine times 2.5 because I know that's kind of the standard. If yours was losing weight, right? If you're going to quit smoking, it's going to change your life, right? Is that attainable? Absolutely. Have others done it? Of course. So it is attainable. Okay. How does that fit into your broader objectives? Is it relevant? Okay. And then time bound. You got another 30 seconds. Twenty seconds to go. And then we're going to write it. Beautiful. All right. The 2 minutes is up. If this isn't long enough for you, you know we're recording this. You can always come back and do it. But I want you to write something down right now, even if it's butchered and you're like, oh, I don't know. The key is you took action right now today and you did this. Okay. So you have your first person I. You have your present tense verb. Boom, down. Now you're going to put in these categories that are off the smart. Okay. So mine is I earn $175,000 annually in residual based income. I'm just taking mine and filling it in, and go ahead and fill yours in. Don't write mine down. Okay. Via weekly, right? The measurable part. How am I tracking it? Via weekly additions of new recruits. Now, see, mine wasn't specific enough. Of 2 new recruits. Boom. Okay. So it should read something like I, and it should have a present tense verb, and it should have something specific in amount. Or here's a great one if you want to quit smoking. I am a non-smoker, and I track each day on my calendar to mark a big X as I did not smoke that day. I am a non-smoker. You identify as a smoker. You don't want to say, I want to quit smoking. Doesn't work. You get the idea, right? So I am is a powerful word. I earn, I weigh, I exercise, I love. Okay, you got it. Okay, it's very important because so many people, it's the biggest mistake people make in written goals is they put it as future tense verb, right? It sounds kind of weird because we don't talk a lot of times in present tense, but that's how your subconscious reads it. If you say I earn, your subconscious believes it, that's it. It can't tell the difference between a thought and what has actually occurred. And you're going to be reading this every morning. You're going to be literally programming your brain for success. Okay. So everybody, if you're on this thing right now, should have a written goal. It should be your number one most important goal for 2026. The one that if you accomplished it, it would change everything for you. Out of everything else that you have, it should be aligned with the other goals that you have and be helpful towards that. For example, quitting smoking would be a great way for a lot of people to get healthy, lose weight, be more social with their family, right? To help them with their career, right? Because the accomplishment of moving towards that goal is going to make them feel better. All right, you get the idea. So you've written it down right now. Mine reads this. I'm just telling you mine. If anybody wants to share theirs in the chat or wants to unmute and share theirs, they can. You don't have to, because goals can be a very personal thing. But sometimes putting yourself on blast with your goal helps drive you towards it, right? It pushes you towards it. So mine is I earn $175,000 annually in residual-based income via weekly additions of 2 new recruits. There you go. That's mine. We'll read that every single day. I know that right there will change my family's life and align me with everything else that I have that I'm going to do. Now, your homework is to go back and rewrite all of your goals in this format. Who has a question on the SMART format or wants to share? I'm going to stop the share on here. Who has a question or would like to share theirs if they want? You don't have to, but you can if you want to. Okay, so Melinda Kessler put, I sell 5 homes by 3/1/2026. Awesome. Awesome goal. Love it. Okay. Tony Justo put must or need, right? Must can be, it can be considered by your subconscious a want or a desire versus it's already happened. Okay. You want to make sure it reads as if it's already done. In fact, you're going to act as if you've already accomplished it. You're going to act as if. Seems crazy, right? When the first time I heard it, I was like, that seems kind of weird on it, but it's the truth. Okay. So let's see who else did. Valerie said she started personal goals. Awesome. Okay. Laura says, I am a senior specialist earning an additional $10,000 per month in income. Beautiful. I love it. Okay. Melinda, if you put, I sold 5 homes by 3/1/2026, that's a past tense verb. Okay. You guys got the idea on it. All right. So what's the next step from here? Okay. Beautiful. I do full split by 2/2026. I love it. Okay. Great. The next step is the one most people miss. Later on, you're going to do your homework as far as the other goals that you're going to work on. Because here's the thing, you got to have a balanced life. Maybe you put something in there about stopping some type of bad habit. Maybe you put something about starting a new good habit. Maybe you put something about your health. Maybe you put something about your wealth. Maybe you put something about relationships. That's great. But you actually need to answer all those questions. All of those questions are going to be goals that you're going to write. Everyone needs to have a health goal because you can be the richest person in the world and make the most money in the world. But if your health is crap, everything's crap. Do you want to be the richest person in the graveyard? There's a lot of business people that are super successful and their health is crap. Their life is crap because that's what's going to happen. You're just making money for your heirs if your health is not good. Okay, so you need to have a health goal. Everyone needs to have that. A lot of people will break a health goal into one will be weight and then one will be the amount they exercise. They'll break it out even more, but you got to have a health goal. You got to have a wealth goal. Okay, wealth with a W. You need to have something about income and something you're pushing towards. Some people will break out wealth goals into a retirement goal, putting money towards retirement. The reason I mentioned that from a bunch of realtors, NAR says 95% of realtors have zero retirement. They have less than $1,000 put away for retirement, and that is sad. That is sad. Okay. So a lot of people will take a wealth goal and they'll have an income goal that they're earning. They'll have a investing type goal towards retirement that they're earning. And then a lot of people will be looking for a legacy type income, something that they're leaving for others. Okay. They'll break that out into goals. Okay. But you got to have a health goal and a wealth goal. Okay. I would recommend everybody have some type of relationship goal. What good are you if you're the richest person in the world, but nobody to love? Does that sound good? No. Thing about love and relationships is that you have to work on it. You have to work on it. And so it requires goals to remind you, what are you going to do those goals? Okay. So you gotta have a relationship goal, some type of relationship goal. All right. Also, you should have some type of spiritual goal, right? God or the universe or one thing that, however you believe in, you should have some type of spiritual goal. Okay. I also believe everybody should have some type of personal growth goal, something that you're going to work on yourself. I call it a good habit goal too, or a personal growth goal. What am I going to do to grow me as a person? I read a personal growth book each week. Okay. I complete a personal growth book each week. However you're going to say it, right? It's going to be first person, it's going to be present tense and things like that. I think everybody should have a personal growth. Who are you becoming in this life? Do you know the stat out there says that after college, I think the stats are like 8 out of 10 adults never pick up a book again. That's not, Sports Illustrated or a romance novel or something like that. Something that grows them as a person and helps them learn something. 8 out of 10 adults never pick one up again after college. Is that crazy or what? That's why you can be so much further ahead. In real estate, people are going to hire you for the person that you are and the shining light that you are in the community and things like that. They're going to be drawn to you for that. Because as realtors become more and more easily replaced, right? Because as a commodity, there's a lot of us. Your client knows 16 realtors by first name, according to NAR. They're going to pick the one that has the most light and the most shine. Okay. There we go. Kim Campbell says, I finished listening to the Bible second time, 12/26/26. She's going to complete the good book again. That's a great goal, right? Okay. So let's get into what do we do next, right? So you're a well-rounded person. You're this well-rounded person with all these different goals, but you got the one major goal that you know if you did it today, would change your life and would be with everything else. You already wrote it down. You got it on your sheet right there. Okay. The next step is what are the steps I'm going to do to make that happen? Okay. So I told you mine, I'm telling you mine anyways. I earn $175,000 annually in residual-based income via weekly additions of 2 new recruits. I know what the goal is. Now, how do I make that happen? There's got to be actions behind that because they're not just going to, Kim, they're not just going to parachute out of the ceiling, right? Not going to recruit new agents by just saying they're not just going to show up. Hey, we want to join your team and your brokerage. Not going to happen. So how do I do that? This is the part where you're going to sit down and we're going to take 2 minutes and do this, and then I'm going to do the AI part. Okay, so we're coming towards the end here. You have written a goal now. You have a written goal. You're ahead of 99% of the other people out there. But now what are the steps that you're going to take? You're going to do it in shorthand. You can come back and rewrite it out and everything. But what are the steps you could take? Let's set my timer. What are the steps you could take to work towards that goal? This is the main goal. This is the one that will change your life. This is the one you're going to go into detail on of what are the activities that you can take. I'm going to set it for 2 minutes. Then we're going to go to the AI part. All right. You ready? Go. What are the things that you could do to work towards a goal? So, for example, if you're losing weight, I'm going to throw all the junk food out of my house today. Donate it. If it's health, I'm going to the gym today and joining the gym and working out today, right? That's an action that you're taking. Okay. What are the actions that you are going to take and move those forward? If it's a relationship thing and you wanted to really work on your interpersonal relationships, how about the fact that you're going to tell the person you're with you love them every day out loud? Say it. You're going to grab them, you're going to hug them, you're going to hold them for 20 seconds every day. These are actions. What are the actions you're going to work towards growing that relationship? Okay. Maybe you're going to have date night every week. That's the relation. I'm just giving you ideas, right? You're going to write down these actions of what you're going to do. Okay. So you got a minute left. I'll stop talking and let you write. What are the steps you're going to take towards that? Okay. You have at least 5 action steps underneath there. 5, that you're going to do. Some of you are getting stumped. It's okay. You're going to use ChatGPT to come up with them. If you're like, I don't know 5 things I'm going to do towards accomplishing this goal, you're going to be able to use your clone to do that here in a second. Okay. But you should have 5. Okay. I'm going to rip through mine real quick just so you can give an idea of what you're going to do. So you knew my goal, right? Earn $175,000 annually in residual base income via weekly additions of 2 new recruits. What are the 5 steps I'm going to take? Number 1, I'm going to talk to 10 agents per day. Okay. I'm going to invite them to our agent helping agents meetings that we have. I'm going to do webinars. I'm going to chat with our VA, our inside sales agent, and talk with them each day as to who they talked to and what they did. And then I'm going to invite agents to our mastermind that we have here. Beautiful. There we go. Those are 5 steps that we're going to do, that I'm going to do, and knock those out. You should have 5 things also that's going to move you towards your goal. Maybe yours was I wanted to lose weight. You're going to, I walk 10,000 steps per day and I track with a tracker. I decreased my calories by 200 calories a day, right? You got the things. I threw out all the junk food. I deleted the Grubhub and speed food apps, and I no longer eat fast food, right? Whatever it is. Okay. You've got your items that are on there. There's 5 that are on there. Now that's going to go, and you put that on your mirror. Now, if your handwriting is as terrible as mine on this, you could rewrite it if you want and make it nice and neat, but you need to put it where you can see it every single day. Here's the key. Writing it puts you ahead of everyone else, but you have to program this into your subconscious by putting it where you can read it. There's a place that everybody is every single day that they look at, and that's the mirror, right? You go to the bathroom mirror, you brush your teeth. If you're a guy, you shave, right? If you're a woman, maybe you put on a little bit of stuff, maybe not. You don't need it, ladies, by the way. Don't wear that stuff. But if you feel like you need to, you can get in there. But you read your goals to yourself as you're there. If you're not brushing your teeth, you can read them out loud. It's even better for you to read and hear it yourself, but you read it and you program it into your brain. You're going to read the goal and then the 5 steps that are going to get you there to do it every day. And a lot of people go to the mirror at night too. Brush your teeth before bed, take off the war paint and stuff like that, right? Read the goals again before you go to bed, because your subconscious does the most work, actually, believe it or not, when you're asleep. That's when it does the most on that. And that, my friends, is the written part of doing your goals. You have more homework to go and do, which a lot of you won't do. But for everybody who was on here and did it, you now have the number 1 written goal that you have, and you paste this sucker to your mirror. Even if you don't want to rewrite it, you can take that right now and put that on your mirror and read it every morning and every night. And your life a year from now will be completely different. Promise you, it will. Sounds hokey. It works. And the reason it works is because no one else does it. And so it's the barrier to entry is so low for success. And that's what you want to do. All right. So for those of you who did your earlier year, I think it was a couple of months ago we did, right? I taught you how to do an AI clone. To tell you this, you could just go to your ChatGPT or your Perplexity or whatever you use right now if you haven't done a clone, and you could have it help you write goals. The problem with that is, if you haven't done your AI clone, is that the large language model AIs have been written for 8 billion people to use, okay? So because of that, it's very generic. You're going to get a generic answer, right? You could have 8 billion people ask let's just use ChatGPT right now, their ChatGPT to write goals for them. Well, they're just going to write goals for you that it would be writing for every human on the planet. You want yours to be more specific. So it's really helpful if you do your AI clone first. I did an entire YouTube video on it. You can go back to it and do it. It takes about an hour. And you teach your ChatGPT to know everything about you. And not just like, I was born on such and such date and everything like that. Like it's going to, you'll see in the video when you do it, it knows things about you. Like what is important to you? Like mine knows that donating to charity is a very important thing for Stacy and I. Leaving the world a better place than where we came in. That is like, it's like a big thing for us. Leaving a legacy for our kids and hopefully grandkids one day. If our kids ever figure out how to do it, we'll get some grandkids out of them, squeeze them. I already told them I'm gonna start writing them out of the will and start giving stuff away to the dogs and the cats and my raccoons if they don't start pumping out some grandkids. Ready, let's go. Anyways, sorry about that. So ChatGPT knows everything about you. When you create a clone and you install it into the brain of your ChatGPT. It's a very simple system to do, but you got to do it. It's very methodical. I go through the whole thing and you can do it on that. So for those of you who already have done your clone, here's what I'm going to show you right now. You're going to love this. Now you got your written. I hope you did your written part and you put that on the mirror because that's very important. But now let's see what the machine says. Who wants to see what the machine? It's scary, by the way, just so you know. If you be afraid, be very afraid because it knows a lot about you. All right. So ChatGPT, as you know, I'm going to use ChatGPT. You can do this in any of the large language models. We can use ChatGPT. Can you guys see my screen? For those of you who haven't done your clone but still want to watch this, you can. It's not going to make a lot of sense to you, but we're going to go through it. So, Kim, you can see give me a thumbs up if you can see my screen. Okay, good. So over here on the sidebar of ChatGPT, you know you can create projects. For those of you who don't know it, you should be putting things into projects. If you want to have context in your communications and not just have ChatGPT and stuff flying off the handle and coming up with what they call hallucinations, which are like, why the heck did it say that? You should be working inside projects. Over here in the sidebar, you can see different projects that I'm working on. Investing in precious metals, mastermind trainings, crypto investing, health, food and cooking, goals and strategic plans was one I created. I would recommend creating a project for goals, and I call mine goals and strategic plans for my life, but also you can just call it goals if you want. Okay, you create that, and then inside anything that you're doing with the goals, you work inside that project chat. Okay, for those of you who don't know what that means, you'll see it on the clone thing on it because we actually build an AI clone, and that's actually one of your projects that you save. Okay, good deal. So let's get into this. I created, and let me see if I can put it in the chat. Hang on here. I'm going to give it to you. I created with my ChatGPT. You can go and create your own if you want, but I created a questionnaire based on different types of goals, and I'll show you what it is here in a second. I'm going to see if I can paste this. Can I paste this file? Let's see if I can put it in Microsoft Dropbox. Uh-oh. Google Drive. Let me see if I can go. Is it going to take a document from my Google Drive? What's it doing here? Hang on one second. I didn't plan this out totally ahead. I've got a document I wanted to give you. Let's see if I have it. If I can paste it in here. Yes, Zoom wants to access your Google account. Okay. Hang on one second. I'm doing this behind the scenes. Confirm. Yes, I want it to see that. I want it to get this document. Files. Google Drive. So now let me do it. All right, hang on here. What I've got is I've got a Word doc that I want to share with you guys. Hang on. Let me see if I can get it off of here. I have a Word doc that I want to give you. I downloaded, and it's got questions that you'll be able to plug into your ChatGPT, and you're going to have it interview you. Okay? So why is it not shipping up? There's the Word doc. Share. Let me see if I can share it. Get a Word mobile app. No, that's not it. Hang on. I'm so sorry about this. I didn't get that done fast enough. Hang on. Let me try to go to Drive. Do it the old-fashioned way. I've got it on Google Drive so I can send it out to you. I'm going to put the link in the chat and you can download it. I would recommend you creating your own, but I'm going to give you this one. New file. Let's see what happens. Goal interview questions. There they are. Hang on here. I got it. I know that took me a second to figure that out. Sorry. Make a copy, download, open with, share. There it is. Share the link. Let me make sure this guy is going to be able to be opened. There we go. So I'm going to put this in the chat box.
Okay.
Paste. And somebody tell me if you can open that.
Let me try.
Try that out and see.
Okay, it's
If
the
so,
editor. They give option editor, viewer, or commenter. So,
oh,
um,
you know what? Maybe I need to change uh, hang on, let me see if maybe I need to change the security system on it. Hang on. There it is. Hang on, it's going to pop up here in a second. There they are. Save to drive. I want to share. Private only to me. No, I want to, hang on here. I want to share it. Restricted. I don't want it to be restricted. Anyone with the link. There we go. All right. I'm going to re
perfect. Got
the
it.
link. Hang
It
on.
went
Is it
through.
letting you in now? Is it letting you
Yep,
in? Okay, good.
finally.
Okay, all
Through.
right, there we go. All right. You should be good to go. All right, good. Okay, so you can download that to your computer and you can take that and paste that in if you want. So it looks like this. Hang on here. Done. Let me go back to Zoom. It's going to look like this. Share document. All right. Can you guys see that? So what I
Yes,
did is I
perfect now.
created with my chat GPT is a list of questions that can be used that you're welcome to cut and paste if you want. Or you can have it create your own. Okay. So this is mine. You're welcome, you guys are welcome to have it, but I ask cool questions like annual vision at the end of 2026. What must be true for you to say this was one of the best years of my life? ChatGPT is going to ask me these questions and I'm going to talk to it and it's going to interview me in the conversational mode. And I'm just going to talk to it. Conversation, just talk and just talk and talk and talk. I recommend reading the questions first so you have an idea of what it's going to ask you, the order it's going to come in, maybe even take a few notes. But describe your ideal day at the end of 2026. What would I want my day to look like? Okay. And it's got really cool questions. I won't go through them all in here because we're getting close. Actually, I'm over time on this.
It's
But
good.
that's
It's good.
that's what you're going to want. Okay. And you're going to plug that into your chat GPT and have it ask you questions. Cool, right? And
Wow,
then
very
from
cool.
there, it's going to create your goals. Okay, hang on one second here. I'm going to go, no, I don't want to go to that. I want to go to this. Hang on. I'm going to show you what it's going to look like. Okay. And let me share with you. I think my screen share died. Let me go back to it. Anybody needs to jump off, you guys can jump off. There's a recording on this, just so you know.
This is
So,
good stuff. Keep pouring, Jim.
okay. So here's
People have to
ChatGPT.
go. Yeah.
You're going to be able to go inside your goal setting. You're going to be able to tell ChatGPT, look, I'm going to be setting some goals. I'm going to paste a Word document for you that has some questions, and I want you to interview me. Okay. And so it's going to say something like this. This one, I wanted it to have some questions. And what I asked them to do is to work around. And I said this to it. I said, so I created this project of goals and strategic plans to work with you to help create goals for me for 2026. I want to use the smart platform where I've done goals in the past, but I also want to introduce some things you recommended on another chat called the OKR system and the 12 weeks in a year planning system to layer in goals. And the goals I want to work with are going to be personal goals that we'll work together on putting in writing so I can print it out and put it on my mirror. I'm going to paste that exact prompt into the chat. Hang on here, copy. And you're welcome
Perfect.
to use this or you can do your own. I'm going to put this in the chat. Hang on. Stop share in the chat. This was the prompt I used. And
Great
that's what I
stuff.
asked. Okay. So I put that in the chat. And what you do, and you guys know this already if you worked with ChatGPT, is you come down here into the question box and you add the file. You'll add the file, which would be the Word doc, and you would put it in there, and you would ask it this question. Well, mine already uploaded. Sorry, it uploaded mine, but you're going to have it ask you the questions. Okay, and it'll interview you. Oops, you guys probably can't see my screen, can you? Sorry about that.
Very
Hang on.
cool.
I don't want that. Let me close that. Zoom. There we go. Zoom. You're going to ask it inside ChatGPT once you guys couldn't see my screen, once you've pasted the document in there. You guys know how to do that. You hit the little plus button, you add the file, and then you ask it, please interview me this based on what you know about me. Please interview me and ask me these questions, and I'm going to give you the answers and then format that into the prompt that we had before. And it will ask you the questions. You can also ask it for clarifying questions where it will ask you follow-up clarifying questions. So it's not ambiguous. So it knows everything about you. Just like you're talking to a person at a job interview. You talk to the Chat GPT and have it write the goals for you. Now, I recommend everybody doing the written goals first by hand and then see what the computer comes up with. And you will be shocked, frightened, amazed, astounded, every adjective that I can think of as to what it will do for you and what it will write. Now, I taught you the SMART system today. ChatGPT knows the OKR system. It also knows the 12 weeks in a year system. What those are OKR is a little more business oriented, working with different um, um, key performance indicators and work with you on that. Like if you're trying to hit a certain commission goal and different percentages and things like that that real estate agents use, like how many leads do you need to be working with to get this many closings? It does that type of setup for you. The 12 weeks in a year program is one where sometimes when setting goals, when you set them on an annual basis, the potential is for you to wait. Oh shit, it's January. I got till December. I'll get started in April, right? And that's too late. You're not going to hit a 12-month goal if you wait to get started until April to get going on it, daily on it. So what that system does is it takes a year and compresses it down to 12 and sets you up on daily tasks and even hourly. How much time do you need to time block each day towards lead generation if you want to get this many leads, to get this many appointments, to get this many contracts, to get this many closings? Okay. And the system will break it down for you. It'll create a checklist for you. It'll create a tracking system where you got to track it and mark it off each day. Like really cool stuff like that, ChatGPT can do for you. I know I went over today, but I wanted to give you the ChatGPT stuff I had on the end. If you haven't created your clone, let me encourage you this. Create your clone. Use that YouTube video I did and create your clone. That could actually be one of your goals for 2026. Do you know that if you clone yourself inside, like who you really are, your core essence, you clone that inside your chosen, I taught it on ChatGPT, but it will create such better answers for you and things like that as far as it's working on right now. I started working on with ours on recruiting, and it created an avatar of the ideal agent, what that agent looks like is not the right word, what their core values are that would align with the core values that I have and where they're at in their life and what people would I connect with best. And it was able to take the data source we have and filter out who those agents are and set us up to talk to them. Like really cool stuff like that you can do. So create your clone, both your personal and your business clone. They have it, and then have it come back and do your goals with you in the interview, and then have it write your goals. And then as real estate agents, if we decide we want to do this as a later one, I also have a list of interview questions that you should have ChatGPT ask you as a realtor, and then have it design your um, lead generation goals and things like that. It's a whole nother class that's crazy and stuff like that they're charging thousands for. Maybe we can do that one in the near future, but you have to have your clone done before you can do that one. So that's it. Any questions before we jump off? I know I talked a lot, and I'm gonna take a
No,
quick
this
drink.
is great, Jim, and keep talking. I mean, like this is we almost need to do a sequel when like next week, like 5, 10 minutes, getting this, and then you show us the clone and what happened. That's really cool, because that way people can really actually have hands-on study from you. That's awesome.
Yep,
Give Jim a hand,
Love it,
guys.
man. Perfect.
there you
Love.
Just
go.
what we need.
Yay.
Good. I
Exactly.
hope everybody got their at least one written goal done. Put it on your mirror, read it every single
Yes.
day. And a year from now, you won't believe how far you came by just reading that one thing every single day. But I tell everybody you should probably do all of them. But if you don't,
Yes.
you've at least got your main one done. And that's the way to go.
Very
So
good.
we'll see everybody next Monday. Do we know next Monday's topic?
Not yet.
Oh,
We'll
yeah.
figure
All right.
that out and send it out.
And if I talked
All
too
right.
fast for any of you, because I get that from some people, you can go to the YouTube and there's a little wheel down in the corner, a little settings thing, and you can slow down my talking. But if you slow it down too far, I sound like I'm drunk talking to you. But you can slow it down to 0.75, and maybe you can understand it better like that. And we'll go from there. But we'll see
I
everybody
love
next
it.
Monday. Hey, bring a friend, and we'll go from there. But hope you guys enjoyed that. And we'll see
Love
all.
it.
Oh, by the way, if you don't have the links or anything like that, go down to the chat box, go to the three dots, hover over it with your mouse. It'll say more, and save the chat into a notepad on your desktop. And then you'll have the links and stuff like that were in there. You can save it to your computer. So you got it. Okay. All right, guys. We'll see everybody next Monday. Have a good one. Happy Martin
Hey
Luther King Day.
guys.